Hello there, viewers. I am Infinity Endgame 22. Who am I, you may ask? Good question. I am an enthusiast of all things nerdy. On this channel, I'll review toys, comics, movies, video games, and whatever else I can get my hands on. For my first review, I want to show you the Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man figure from Mattel. This is the 2022 version of Origins He-Man and costs around $16. Origins is Mattel's way of recreating and updating figures from the classic Masters of the Universe toy line from the early 80s, in case you didn't know. Now, I'm just getting into the He-Man lore and how good I've seen so far, especially from the toys. So why don't we take a closer look? Now, Origins actually first started releasing in 2020. The main differences from the 2022 and 2021 and 2020 versions are fairly simple. Those differences being the head and the power sword. I'll talk about the power sword in a bit, but this head, wow, what a head sculpt. You'll just let the camera get in focus here. Maybe you can appreciate it as much as I do. But man, this is quite a good head, if I do say so myself. Dead ringer for 80s He-Man. Oop, dropped his power sword. Whoopsie daisy. That sort of note, I think this whole figure displays, the iconography associated with the most powerful man in the universe. He has his gray harness with these nice red highlights, as well as, this Ankh right here sitting in the middle. Well, finally it gets in focus. We got a holster on the back here for his weapons. Boy, this power sword just does not want to stay in his hands, does he? Come on, buddy. He has these orange wrist bracers on both sides. His furry underpants with an orange belt. And of course, these brown boots with a bit of yellow fur right up at the top. My favorite detail here are these sort of squat-looking knees. This is obviously done to, resemble the vintage He-Man as well as all the other old He-Man figures. But this one actually does have knee articulation unlike those, so, it looks classic, but still functional for the modern day. Speaking of articulation, I think we should get into that. I'm just going to put this on his back because I think it's just getting in the way. Let's see. Articulation. What are we going to do? Oh, yes. The head moves down a little bit, up a tiny bit too, pivots to the side okay, and spins all the way around. Shoulders here present a pretty unfortunate issue. Move out just fine, but when they do kind of move out at a funny angle, especially if you have the arm up here and you just kind of move it out, it just kind of goes up in front of his face, so that's a bit strange. But, the elbow articulation helps with that because, that can spin too. There's a bend. Ugh, a little hard to access, but it's okay. Another problem I have are these wrists. They spin around fine, but I don't like the joint. It'd be much better if it was a horizontal hinge, because then He-Man could do his classic by the power of Grayskull, I have the power pose. So this is kind of the best you can do, and not great in my opinion. Waist can spin fairly well. Legs can move out and forwards and backwards a tiny bit. Quite a bit better than those old rubber bands, I must say. Knees can bend, and they can turn, though that does look a little funny with the squat knees I was talking about. Now the boots can spin around, ankles move down, and they move up, and they can pivot. Geez, he's just dropping all his stuff today. Yeah, so ankles, they pivot, right. Since his accessories keep falling out of his hand, I think we'll talk about those next, but overall the articulation is quite nice. Now, shield. We'll start with this since it fell off, and it'd be kind of nice to show off how it works. So, it is designed to look like the classic He-Man shield, got these nice little raised designs and these little raised circles here, as well as these nice little orange designs. Looks very good. Now this hand here is open, as you might have seen. So the easy way to do this is just to put his hand through the handle and clip it on like so. Fits pretty well, unless you're doing lots of hands-on stuff like, trying to review him. Now, like I said earlier, The other big difference here is the power sword. Now, unlike the 2020 version, that had a half power sword, which was another nod to the classic He-Man, this, as you can see, is a whole power sword, which is a design I like quite a bit more, actually. Those look quite nice. There's a very nice sort of shiny silver to it. And if we take it out, there's even a little indent right there in the hand. So he can hold on, he can get a pretty good grip on it, but, messing around with him, it will cause it to fall out. But the other accessory he includes is a kind of another nitpick I have. He's got his classic axe. Now this looks okay. I do wish maybe it was a bit more silver like this, but big problem is that the power sword fits so well because of the larger handle. This handle is a lot smaller, so, the fit there is a lot looser. Yeah, you can definitely see that problem right there. So that is sort of another unfortunate complaint I have. Well, said all I needed to. Now for the final verdict on this toy. Overall, I would say that this is a very, very impressive He-Man figure. I think it looks just like the vintage one. The updates, like, all the articulation and the full power sword are very welcomed. And with all my complaints taken into consideration, I think this figure should get a 9 out of 10. I am definitely quite impressed with these He-Man toys, and I think I'm going to take a look at a couple more. Well, that's all from me. I'll see everyone around for more toy reviews, and by the power of Grayskull, have a wonderful day.